A couple weeks ago, I was in San Francisco to support the Hong Kong protesters by City Hall. And I did speak for a couple minutes. And since that time, the YouTube of my speech has gone out a little bit. And I was called and asked by a few people in my peer group and others on why I was involved in it. And it goes back to April of 2018. I met a lady by the name of Yifei Wong, and she lost her sister in a labor camp in the year of 2001. And that story touched me. And so I started to dive into not just her story, but the actual persecution of a group called Falun Dafa and Falun Gong. Same group, but different name. And what I learned was just absolutely astonishing. That this group had been persecuted to a level of atrocities, and the politicians in America and the human rights world have ignored it and ignored China's abuse and not been able to stop it. So I dove in for over a year to figure out why this was occurring and why there were no pressure points on China as we put pressure points on everybody else, North Korea, even Russia right now, that's not even has anything to do with human rights. There's sanctions on Russia, and why we're not putting pressure on China as well for the atrocities that they do. And I've never been involved in this stuff before, so it touched me. And when you meet Yifei, if you ever get the chance to do it, you'll understand why. But anyway, Yifei and Falun Dafa practitioners, I gave the analogy of they're like the Amish in America. So it would be like if our government decided to pick up all the Amish people in Pennsylvania and Illinois and elsewhere and have them have to denounce that they're Amish or they're going to go to prison and labor camp. So I couldn't understand this, and I couldn't understand why our politicians, Republicans, Democrats, across the board, and economic leaders would not address this while they're in associations at ambassadorial level and communications and business aspects with the Chinese, why they would ignore the atrocities. And it turns out, real simple, it's money. And we're finding out even more of that with the Hong Kong situation. And I'll get into that in a minute, and this is why I'm speaking on it. Money through the politicians of the Republicans and the Democrats, okay, have infiltrated from Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, we'll refer to it as the CCP. They've infiltrated our political sector and economic elites, and our decisions to do business over there trump human rights. It's that simple. It's just the truth. Now, American business people and American politicians, they have that right. They have that right to do business over there with people that are committing atrocities, killing people, having organ harvesting, and ignoring the human rights violations of individuals in China. Everybody has that right in America to feel that way. However, the American people, okay, deserve to know about it. And because the press has also been aligned with the CCP and money associated with the CCP and the political arena of the Republicans and the Democrats, okay, mostly the Democrats, I will say, some Republicans, mostly Democrats, taking money and support policies and money associations with the CCP. They have that right, okay, but they definitely need to be called out on it for their consciousness. The politicians obviously are not going to do this. They're proving who they are, and they've had the chance to speak up on this. And this is why I spoke up on this about the Hong Kong issue, because Hong Kong now is the center. Hong Kong is the next Falun Dafa. Okay? Hong Kong is the next Uyghurs. Okay? China is going to move into Hong Kong and do the atrocities, and already is doing some atrocities we don't know about with some of the student protesters. And who's ignoring it? The world press is ignoring it. They'll report on it after the fact, but nobody is diving into it because it's too politically dangerous for them, and they'll lose money. Okay, they'll lose political money and financial money. So, the NBA, how does this roll into the NBA? The only person that we could get to speak on this is Daryl Morey. He's a general manager of the Houston Rockets. Here is a general manager of the Houston Rockets speaking out on human rights and democratic freedoms, okay, against the will of who he works with and the financial interest. This is Muhammad Ali stuff, okay? If people that don't know Muhammad Ali, he was human rights all the way, okay? Now, he was a boxer, so he had individual abilities to do that. People that are in organizations such as the NBA, players, coaches, agents, owners, they're going to put their financial interests first. We understand that, okay? But once they realize what's been going on in China, I want you all to take a look at your own consciousness. It's your conscience you have to deal with, okay? You can do whatever you want to do, okay? But most of your athletes, and I know sports very, very well. Some of you may even know me or recognize me, okay? No pain, no gain in sports, okay? Every one of you has sacrificed a tremendous amount to get to your achievements, and that goes for management as well as ownership. Different types of pains and gains you have to go through to get there. And the bottom line is, now that you have so much wealth, you're ignoring a little loss, a little pain, okay, where you as Americans, under the freedom of our Constitution for individual rights, are willing to be blackmailed and held hostage by a regime that creates atrocities like China and is going to create large atrocities on Hong Kong. It's almost like the press wants to wait for that to happen to report on it, okay? It's incredible, okay? Politicians, you need to get in front of this, and China needs to have the financial pressure on them, okay, from the NBA and the players, because China needs the NBA and the players more than NBA and needs China. And the NBA players and ownership are acting like China is more important to them. That's crazy, okay? Major League Baseball's trying to do stuff, golf's trying to do stuff over there, but I can guarantee you, okay, I could get Major League Baseball owners and players to step up and speak on this, and they will. But right now, they're hoping the NBA speaks up and backs Daryl Morey, especially players, Michael Jordan, Stephen Curry, LeBron James. You're born of civil rights, individual freedoms, people that sacrifice for you to have the opportunity that you have here in America. And you've made money. Who cares if you don't do business in China? Shut it down, shut it off. And if you don't, I recommend one big thing will happen, okay? Hong Kongers will start a worldwide campaign boycott of NBA products and individual products of either LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or Stephen Curry. Okay, there will be a massive boycott and protest if we realize that you find out what is going on over there, okay? And I understand maybe you haven't known, but now you know, okay? And if you don't know, we ask you to go to freesistersbody.com and watch that documentary little segment there, and then call me, contact me, and I'll give you a lot of details on what's going on there. We have new segments coming out. We have other things that are happening that are going to show the abuse and atrocities that China's doing. So if you keep going the way you're going, okay, I can guarantee you there's going to be boycotts and more financial burden on you, the NBA, and players than you are going to lose in China. And they want to sit with people that create atrocities. It's like sitting with cartel drug dealers, okay, that you're the second person below, okay, and you're okay with it because you're not the cartel leader. That's what the Communist Party is doing with atrocities, and that's what they're going to do in Hong Kong. Don't think for 1 minute they're not going to do it, because they already are doing it. We're getting some information on what they're doing. And Apple, for you to pull down apps, that's unbelievable too. How can you do that? But right now we're going to focus on the NBA and the players, because you're not a public company. You guys can do what you want to do. You don't have to answer to shareholders, stockholders, like corporate companies have to do. Okay? These are ball clubs. They're owned by individuals, and you can do the right thing. It's easy. I'm doing it right now. Okay? And I'm probably worth a lot more than you ball players. Okay? So you ball players can probably do it with me. Hopefully you'll join us.
在流，何以令眾人亦憤恨？昂首拒物尋，吶喊聲響後，盼自由歸於這裏。何以這空虛沒不走？何以為信念從沒對後？何解血在流，但邁進聲響後，現自由光輝香港。在晚星隨落黃夜，迷霧裏追遠是誰來無角色？我自由，我齊就這裏，我全力抗拒，勇氣智慧也永不變。黎明來到，要光復這香港。同行兒女為正義時代革命，期望民主與自由，萬世都不留。我願榮光歸香港。何以這土地裏在流？何以令眾人亦憤恨？昂首拒物尋，吶喊聲響後，盼自由歸於